In 1.2, we will be adding positive and negative numbers. And before we begin actually doing the addition, let me give you an overview of all of the operations. So the 4 operations that we have are adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And you'll notice here I've got adding, that's the section we're in now, 1.2. And then underneath it I have subtracting, and you notice it's not highlighted, because what we will find in 1.3 is that you just take a subtraction problem and change it to an addition problem. So we've got to be pretty good here at addition, because it also is going to be how we subtract. Also, when we are adding, we will be thinking number line. At the beginning, we'll be actually using the number line to bounce around, going left and right, and seeing where we end up. Later, though, we can still just think number line, and I'm also going to give you I'm going to help you develop your own shortcut to add positive and negative numbers. And then finally, over here on the right, we see multiplying and dividing, which we will cover in section 1.4. And this line in the middle, I'm going to ask you to keep addition, subtraction in one side of your brain and multiplying and dividing in another, because they work differently and it's a little bit too easy to get them confused. Okay, let's see what we've got here. So, as I said, for addition, we're going to be thinking number line. 0 is kind of home, so I've got a little house there. That's where we start. And if we want to leave home, if we're ordered the house, we might ask, well, how far do you want us to go, and in which direction? So what do you think? If we are having a positive 10, how far away do we go from 0? Well, we go 10 units away to get down here at 10. So we've gone 10 units. And in which direction? Well, the sign tells you left or right. Since positive is associated with right, we know we go right. And then the negative 3, we would go this direction. How many units? Well, we went 3, and in which direction? We went left. Now when we add, we're going to be combining all of those movements. So let's take a look at the next video. You'll notice I have 4 problems written here, and I've got them separated by a number line, because I'm going to be doing it on the number line. But I've sort of grouped these problems and these 2 problems together. What do you notice in these first 2 examples about the signs of the numbers that we're adding? Positive, positive, negative, negative. So in both of these 2 cases, the signs, let me write that again. The signs are the same, and I will say we like that because it's a little bit easier. So if we take a look at the number line in this first example, positive 10 plus positive 3, okay, I'm just going to be moving on that number line. So I will go 10 to the right, and then plus a positive 3 to go 3 more to the right. And where do you think we end up? Yeah, we end up at 13, and is that to the right or the left of 0? That's to the right, so it's a positive 13. So we're going to take a look at our answer in terms of both the sign, in which case we get a positive, and the number itself is 13. Likewise, we'll have a negative 10 and a negative 3. That tells us to move to the left 10, and then another movement, we go to the left 3. The negative tells us to go to the left, and where do we end up? At a negative 13. So in that case, our answer, the sign is a negative because we end up to the left of 0, but we're 13 units away. So keep these answers in mind, and we're going to develop our shortcut. Now, the second 2 examples, let me clean up my little number line here. The second 2 examples, what do you know about the signs of the problem? Yes, in those examples, we see that the signs are different. Okay, and I mean, I could put a heart by that too, but it's a little bit trickier, but not really that much. So let's use our number line. Negative 10, tell me how to move. Let's try green here. We go 10 to the left, negative 10, plus a positive 3. So in some different direction, I'm going to go, there's to the right 3. Where do we end up? We end up at the dot. What would you say? Are we to the left or to the right of 0? We're still to the left, so we know the sign is negative. And how many units to the left are we of 0? 7. So our answer is negative 7. If we do it again, this time we're going to go positive 10, so that's 10 to the right. There's our positive 10. And now the negative 3 says, okay, now go backwards 3. So let's go back 3. So that's to the left 3. Where do we end up? Well, we're still to the right of 0. So that's a positive. And how many units? We're 7 units away from 0. So our answer is positive 7. Okay, let's take a look at, briefly here, what we ended up with. Our answer always has 2 pieces, the sign and the number itself. So when the signs are the same, what's the sign of your answer? If you've got positive, positive, the sign of your answer is positive. If you're adding negative and negative, the sign of your answer is negative. And that makes sense because it tells us we've gone to the right and then further to the right, and it makes sense we're going to end up even further to the right. To the left, more to the left, we're going to end up to the left. So I'll notice the sign of our answer is the same as the signs of the numbers in our problem. And to get that 13, well, if you ignore the signs and just think, what's 10 plus 3, you get 13. So this comes from just adding. And I'm going to keep writing here. And when I say that, we're ignoring the sign because all of these are addition problems. It's just finding that piece of it. Secondly, down here, and when the signs are different, we have a negative and a positive can be a negative, and a positive and a negative can be a positive. So when the signs are different, it's not so easy just to tell what the sign of our answer is going to be. In this first case, we went negative 10 and a positive 3, so we went further left. And that makes sense to me. Our answer is going to be to the left of 0. In the second case, we went further to the right, so our answer is positive. So I think many of you may know that. Sign of the bigger number, and I'm going to say, remember, that's just ignoring sign, and then the number part is going to come from the difference of the two. And I'm going to abbreviate that, ignoring the sign. Okay, I think we'll stop there and we'll take a look at again at this shortcut and go through some more examples.